So hi there. Today I will be submitting my assignment for the internship opportunity from the Indian channel. So today I will be showing you the AI helper model and its application, which I had built in this video. So first of all, before starting or diving into the main code, first I will help you understand that how did I make the main model for this assignment. So what I did was I actually did just web scraping and gathered data for three different emotional state of humans. Like I gathered portrait images. So if you're able to see, I can gather few randomly selected randomly people all over the world, right? So what I did is I actually gathered all these images in happy, neutral, and sad folders and used Python to create a model out of it. Now, a key thing to notice here that the data is of course not proper, so we will not be able to expect at high much performance over this model because there are too many improvements can be done since the data is not authentic. It is just a synthetic data without any considerations of different categories and all. So starting with my main model, which I used the Jupyter Lab to create it. So first of all, here are all the dependencies which I used throughout this code, throughout this video. So like starting, let's say there are a few of the modules which I have used like TensorFlow, Matplotlib, as you can see, and here the TQDem I have used TQDem for the progress bar, which you will see the later part of it. So starting with the EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. It stands for the preparing the data, cleaning the data, and making the data look good for the model so that it can be easily been trained and used throughout the journey, right? So first of all, I started by initializing some of the global variables. So the one thing to note is that I have already initialized an image size of 128, 128. It's a tuple actually, and I didn't improvise comma 3 here, or the three channels of the images which I have been included in the latter part of the sections. Then the image data, label data. Image data stands for the images itself, and label data will be the labels corresponding to it. And how do you understand the labels here? As you can see, in classes there are a few of the labels assigned to each of the values, like actually in the form of DSA you can say that it's kind of a hash map, but in Python it's like a dictionary where they have been assigned with a key and value pair, right? So in latter part I have used basic Python combinations of codes to improvise and gather all the data in image data and label data arrays, and then I have been converted into then numpy arrays. So what's the importance of numpy array? See, if I am using then a list, then it will be very difficult for me to gather data and process it. So I converted into a numpy array so that I can convert it into its desired shape, and then just to visualize I use matplotlib for different classes and images, right? So then I normalize the data, and here I have improvised a normal CNN model to classify this image classification problem, right? So what I actually did is I created a sequential API here where TensorFlow Keras has created this with input sections and the convolution neural networks with, as you can see, sorry. Then I have used mainly three max pooling layers. So as you can see, there are three main thick layers, and then I use the fully connected neural networks to improvise and get the output from it. And one thing to notice that at all the places I have used ReLU or rectified linear unit. Here I used the softmax function, because softmax function help us to gather the probabilities of each of the tensors or each of the classes. That what is the probability of getting, let's say, sad, what is the probability of getting let's say smile or happy, right? So by looking at, you can see the actual parameters and the trainable parameters here. So here as the compile code which I have used sparse categorical entropy, because I am providing with it sparse categorical data, not the categorical data. There are two different things. Categorical data can be done on one hot encoding, right? And then I have trained the model using validation split and batch sizes, and you can able to see that the training graph is quite smooth, so it's like an quite working model. I will still there are a lot of uh, improvement can be done over here, since this data itself is not that much efficient to be trained and to gather here, right? So most of the time during this experience I have overthrown like most of the time overfitting, right? So we can be improvise that using different linear rectified functions, or even you know increasing the data, because the data is not, I will still say the data is not much efficient here, right? Just to improvise that how will I process through if I have the opportunity to improve it, right? So now talking about how I created or implemented this model in a real life application. So what I did is I actually built a script using Tkinter or Kinter through OpenCV. This actually code help us to create Windows applications. See, there are multiple applications can be done, from web applications to even Android application in Python, right? So I thought it will be a great idea to create a Windows application, so that it will be easier for anybody to visualize that how this model will basically works, right? So I had let me go through the code itself. uh, Assume this code yoga process is like an API to me, right? So I will be calling it whenever I get this class labels, right? And I will be calling this which type of yogas should I use, right? Then there is a class model. The class model has some few global variables in it. It helps us to get all the data in a singular spot, right? Then the div process, right? It will help us the images which have been taken here to get processed, right, for the further processes. So I had actually used it in the predict function of the model class. Then I have created a cam class where it can be initialized with the literal cam values and can be further processed, right? So then as you can see, this code is entirely been very generous, and you will able to understand what I have done and how I have done. So this display function what actually does is it takes in the predicted class, right, the happy, sad, and then thing, and it will get the data from the yoga poses which you will able to I already saw you to here, right? Then and this things will work like normal Tkinter window. I will let you understand. Okay, one thing to notice is the why I use lambda here instead of normal calling it functions. The lambda function initializes like a proper instance of it every time, right? So because every time a button is being clicked in Tkinter, there is an event passing through a function, right? To pass data every time, right, without you know storing the previous data, it will help us to create every instances out of it, right? And lambda also help us to improve the code itself, and that's why another reason that's why I have used class, because class use the concept of object oriented programming language, sorry, oriented programming. So this will help us to improve the performance, because you already know that using OpenCV within itself is kind of a hard task, since most of the processors are unable to load that thing, right? So let me just go through this code once again. Let me run it. Here are few of the permissions which will be going right now, because as you can see nowadays it's just in warning sections, but after the package is being uploaded to GitHub or something, we can release it without any problems. Let the yeah. So as you can see here, I am currently in my home, so please ignore my background. And sorry. Okay, now let me capture my frame, or let me take a picture. And as you can see, it predict with me that I am sad. So as you can see, I am really sad, not actually that sad, but so it's predicted me that my class is sad, and these are the poses which I can do to improve my sadness or to improve my body posture, sorry. So this is the project which I have done. So thank you for joining. Hopefully this helped you a lot, and thanks for having me.